Hi, I'm Sue Enquist, the former head softball coach at UCLA. Now I'm a member of the NCSA team, and as a director of athleteship and also somebody that's interested in building our community, thanks for coming in today to listen to what I have to share with you. I think probably the most important thing when we talk about being a coach each and every day, we understand the importance of community. At NCSA, I'm hoping that you don't look at us as a service. It's really more than that. We're building a community to help provide solutions for you. So today, let's talk about competitive greatness. Your competitive greatness. As a person, as a coach, and as somebody that's responsible for creating the conditions for your student athletes to reach their best. And for me, I wish I knew everything back in the day that I know now. And I know most coaches will say that. So what I want to share with you are the lessons I learned and the specific tips that hopefully will help you each and every day with your student athletes. So competitive greatness, what does that mean? That term comes from Coach Wooden's pyramid of success. That was his way of identifying each person's own personal success. 15 micro behaviors that individuals need to utilize each and every day. So that's a great little resource for you as a coach, is to be able to look up John Wooden's pyramid of success and use that in your team environment. Maybe you break down a brick each week and you have themes. That's what we did at UCLA. It worked beautifully because we know these young athletes, and don't forget, coach, they're still kids. 18 to 22 years old, they're still kids. And I'd love to be able to say, yes, they're young adults, they're ready to jump and be in society. Our job is to create those conditions for them to go for it, to hold themselves accountable, to have great failure recovery when they go out there and play the game, but more importantly, when they're making decisions on Friday night and when they're making that disciplined list to take care of their academics. So I want to share with you some things that we did at UCLA that worked real well. First, Coach, I know you're in season, so you're going to want me to cut to the chase, help me get better innings 1 through 7. So I want to share with you some of the consistent things that we did. Let's talk about hitting. You know, the majority of your athletes, now you've been playing for a while, you're in season. Now we know that that confidence level is going to go up and down based on who's throwing. The number one thing we did at UCLA is we had strong language about never get caught looking in the circle. Simply, that's the machine that's going to deliver the pitch that's going over this. And so I always showed my players, this is what we're responsible for. So every single day when you train and you get into game day, I want you to remind your players, hey, we're only in charge of 17 inches. She has to deliver it to us. We talk about pitchers have control. At UCLA, I reminded my student athletes every day, oh no, please believe, you have the control. You're not ready? Step out of the box. She can't deliver until you're in that box. So number one, you're in control as a student athlete. Number two, I only have to worry about 17 inches. And I have the awareness as a student athlete that if I'm not feeling confident and I have weak language, step out. And you're gonna have to practice this. So now I step in, now we gotta talk about their talk track. At UCLA, we kept it really simple. That there is nothing going on technically in their head. Right before they step in, we taught our players to simply say this: I've earned the right to be confident. I've worked my tail off Monday through Friday. Tell your girls you've worked your tail off Monday through Friday. So, you step into that box and you remind yourself, I've earned the right to be confident. Number two, you go ahead and you focus on that release point and you tell yourself, bring it, sister. Because I want my players having that positive affirmation going on. And then last, I simply asked our players to simply start saying, yes, 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 yes. I'm planning on swinging on every pitch. I don't care if it's a 3-1 or an 0-2. Our attack mode was always yes, 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 yes. Then we only have one decision to make. Now we just stop the barrel if it's out of the strike zone. So that's easy. I've earned the right to be confident. I'm in charge of 17 inches. I never get caught on who's in the circle. I have my positive talk track. I've earned the right, bring it, sister. And then it's just yes, 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 yes. And you're gonna find your teams are gonna do well when they're aggressive versus being careful. And a quick tip, as a coach, if they're not aggressive, they usually take their stride and they keep their weight back. This is bad. So remember, when you take your stride, you go to toe touch, always make sure that that nose stays over the belly button. And I always wanted my players to tell themselves, take your nose to the ball. That way I know that they were going to transfer their weight. So there's the offense part. Defense, kind of a tough deal, right? Defense, crazy game. We have 2 people playing, the pitcher and the catcher, that are playing catch for 2 hours. Then we have 7 other people that are checking out of the game, checking in, checking out, checking in, checking out. I never asked my players to focus for 2 hours on defense. I never did it. I simply asked them, can you focus 3 seconds at a time? Every player has an imaginary circle around their position. They step in, lock in, they step out, chill. They step in, lock in, they step out, chill. And that helped our team be prepared when they need to be able to execute. Because if I can get, and you can get your student athletes thinking the ball's coming to them every single time, they're going to be better when that ball does eventually come to them. So you got your defensive side and you got your offensive side. And now let's go ahead and tackle the last game. I know you're saying, hello, you've covered offense and defense. I've got to cover the pitching game. And we know that is the largest area where we need to have our confidence. And as a coach, I want you to remember the Sharpie strategy. The Sharpie strategy is pretty simple. I don't care if you're the head coach, the assistant coach, or the pitching coach. When you think pitching, think Sharpie. Your words are going to stain her brain from the minute you start recruiting her, training her, and putting her in the lineup to execute for you. So you're going to have to implement the awareness that my words are a Sharpie on her brain. And I'm going to ask you right now, Coach, how have you stained her brain? Is it all about what she's not? Because remember, by nature, we're evaluators. We're critical thinkers. By nature, educators, coaches are critical thinkers. You have got to catch them doing it right. Catch your pitchers doing it right. Celebrate the little mini things that she does well. And then, don't focus so much on her being perfect. Focus on her failure recovery. So at UCLA, we kept a failure recovery stat. And what was that? Specifically, this is what we did. We measured what she did on the next pitch. Don't worry about the home run. Don't worry about the base hit. Don't worry about the errors behind her. Start focusing on what she did on the next pitch. Because we can make a mistake, but what we can't do as pitchers is create the bleed out. So I just gave up a base hit. Now I'm busy in my head. Now I'm going to walk a kid. Then the next kid, I bean a kid. Then the next kid, I hit her bat. Yeah, that's what we say at UCLA. No one ever hits us. We hit their bat. And my favorite story was back in the day. I know, oh God, she's going to get into a story. I can articulate it in less than a minute. World Series, Kira girl, game on. We're playing Cal for the championship. Boom! Home run. Now, as a pitcher, you can either do oh poor me, or you can simply tell everybody, bring it in. We call timeout. We go out there, and Kira says to me, Coach, that's so my bad. I hit her bat. So at the end of the day, let that be your philosophy. You teach your pitchers to think they're in total control even when they make a mistake. Start keeping track on how they recover. And so Kira did give up that home run. But that next kid struck out, and so did the next kid, and everything ended up working out. You frame their confidence to be great in game mode, and you're going to reach your potential. And we all just want our team to reach their potential. I know you're probably saying, Coach, I'm the doormat team. Well, I've got a quick tip for you, too. You remind your players, don't get caught looking in the other dugout. At the end of the day, the game doesn't know who's supposed to win. And don't you ever forget that. On that note, Coach, I want to say thanks for doing all the things that you do outside of your job that nobody knows about. Thanks so much for having the passion. Thanks so much for fighting the good fight. Because of you, our game of softball is growing faster than ever before. So to all the little things you do, I celebrate you. And I want you to remember something. I'm a part of this team. I'm not a face. I'm not paid to sell NCSA. I'm here, I'm building a community within NCSA, so coaches get content, coaches get connections. I've looked at every service out there. This is the best. The integrity of the people, the technology that they have, and the contacts that we're making. And so our goal in the next few years is to create one space for you to identify talent, to assess talent, to build your game as a leader, and at the end of the day, start getting control of our recruiting in America. Good luck, Coach. And remember, let's get 1% better today.